Hey everyone, welcome to option 2. If you saw the previous tutorial, I'll link it in the description below and on the little eye, and basically we just make it look a little bit different. Very similar. The start, the way you create the base, the first layer, everything is exactly the same. So I'm just going to do that quickly, fast forward through. If you want an in-depth, exactly step by step, go watch the first video. This is just to teach you how I get this to sit like, if you look at all, it's almost like in steps going up, and then here this is another version of it where I've done it further in, creating almost like a star pattern. I do these also for dream catchers and like spiderweb looking designs, so that's what I'm going to teach you this time around. So to begin with, we've got the same wire gauges as before, 1mm, which I think is an 18, and 0.315, which I think is a 28. I'll include that in the description. Got to create our base. Have a base. I do show you how to do this in the option 1 video, the way I do it. Obviously you can just simply mould around if you prefer, but if you want to know exactly how I did that, there is the first video, please go and watch that. But once we have our base made, what we're going to do is, in the exact same way we did originally, we're going to take a length. I go for 45-50 centimetres generally. And to begin with, I always secure this overlap. And if you don't know the steps for the Viking weave, it's very simple. What you do is you go, I always go this way, it's just my preferred way. You could go that way, I prefer going under. You go through, you create a second loop here, and then you come back through that loop, which creates this second loop. I do give a more detailed explanation in that first video. If you've just come over from that, obviously I don't really want to repeat myself too much. So yeah, I'm just going to continue on with the weave for this first layer and then show you the second. So there we have it, that is the first layer done, and it's this point that it differs from option 1. So up until that point we've created the base the same and we've done the weave exactly the same. We stretched the loop out so that they're not taking up too much space on the frame so that later on it doesn't cause problems. I did go over that in detail in the first video. So this is where it changes. Now I always say to go through the same way. Now, to do this in this option, we have to actually go the opposite way and then the right way. So as you know, I've been going through this way every time. But because what we're about to do next, I start going the wrong way and then the right way. Okay? That probably doesn't make much sense, but you're about to see. So this is the last loop I did, and I would normally go here into this loop and I'd come up this way if we were doing it the standard way, but we're not. So what we're going to do is go to the loop after that one, and we're going to go down because we've been coming up every time, and then we're going to come back up through that loop there. So as you can see, we've created the new loop here. Just going to pull that smaller and then pull it along. Okay, so we're going to do that again. This was the second loop last time, so this is the loop we're going to create the next weave around. So we go forward through the one that's 2 over from it, and then back up, sorry, my fingers are getting in the way there, the wire is fighting me. Okay, and then we just pull it again to the size that we want and then secure. And if you can see, it creates this step almost. So again, forward through that one, up through this one. I always pull the wire that way. I find that as long as you keep doing these the same way, they sit nicely. If at some point you switch sides, it can cause them to sit, like one sits forward, one sits back. This way they just sort of sit on top of each other nicely like that. It's another thing to be aware of. So do try and just keep everything that you're doing, do it exactly the same. So if I suddenly decided to go up and then down, or if when I'm pulling the wire through I pulled it forward rather than back, that would change the way it's sat. But you know, have a play around, find out yourself. Don't just take my word for it, you know. You might want it to sit that way. Remember, every time you switch sides, so not switch sides, you know, as you're turning it around, it's so easy to kind of forget which way you're going. Also, don't go over any of the other wires. As you notice, then I just had to pull it slightly and maneuver it so that we didn't catch the what will be the bail wires in this. So now we're going into the second layer. Into we're doing the third layer, which involves going into the second layer. I do have to concentrate at this point just because it's kind of hard for me to see. If you do have any sort of eyesight problems, obviously you'll be doing this close to your face, so it won't be as much of an issue, but obviously with a lot of wires everywhere, that is something to just be aware of. Okay. It's always slightly more difficult when we're at this bail part because obviously there's those 2 wires and then there's wires back here, and that's the only part I really tend to like be like, oh, what's going on? Eyes focus. So now we're doing the third layer, and basically you just continue exactly the same. There's nothing that you do differently at all. The only thing I might suggest is at the very end like I did on the first weave, is making the loops, you know, either slightly smaller or slightly bigger at the point where you want to add in the cabochon and start to mould around it. Okay, so that was just a quick tutorial on how to do that, and that's option 2. If you want to see how I finish the rest of it, go and watch option 1, and I'll be doing the bail in a future tutorial that will be upcoming. If you're watching this in like a couple of weeks, obviously it'll already be up there, and I'm going to be doing a whole section on bails. Comment below what you think of this particular style. Do you prefer this one? Do you prefer option 1? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you love me, please. I have to have 1,000 subscribers and 10,000 views before YouTube even give me pennies, so you know, if you want to support me at all, that would be lovely. And I do have a Facebook group. It'll also be linked in the description just below. You know, come along, come join, come have a chat, show me what you've been making, tell me about you and your life, and yeah, if you have any ideas of what you'd like to see in the upcoming tutorials and videos, let me know. I think that's everything, but I have brain fog, so I could have forgotten something. If I've forgotten anything, I'll link it in the description below. Thank you for your time and energy. Love you all. Bye.